Okay, you may say, well, Link, you've got a solar fridge. How's that going during the winter? And to be honest, before winter I was sort of, a bit sceptical if I'd be able to keep it running all winter. And it's gone brilliantly. It's got quite a bit to do with the fact that we've had a lot warmer winter than normal. We've had a lot of days of like 18 degrees Celsius, and if you sit in your car on it, it's actually quite warm. And we've had days that it's been like cloudless skies, not necessarily super bright, but the brightness has been pretty good because of it not being overcast. Now, I have a 120 watt panel, which is apparently 6.98 amps, according to the little plaque on the back of it, whatever you want to call it, the ratings on the sticker on the back of it. And I like to think of it more or less as 7 amp. I kind of had one of these clear, cloudless days, and it was pumping at about 4.3 amps to the system. I've got a 100 amp hour battery on that. Now, if you do the maths on what they say the highest ampage is, and you work that out to watts just by timesing it by 12 volts, theoretically, I've got 20 hours of compressor runtime. Not 20 hours of the fridge sitting there on its own, but 20 hours of the actual compressor running before I run my battery down to half, which, you don't want to run it down any lower than that. Realistically, you don't want to run it down any more than 30%, but if I run it down to 50 amp hours, that would be 50% because it's a 100 amp hour battery. Now that's theoretically if you do the maths on the amps and that. When I've actually seen it running, when the battery's full and then the fridge starts up, it actually takes less than that. I think it takes about 18.5 watts when the fridge is actually running. But they put the highest amount of amps on there, which would be what it takes when it runs down at 10.5 volts when your batteries are basically dead, because it will run at 10.5 volts. So, that's what the highest ampage rating would be, and the lower ampage ratings would be when your battery's full. So the realistic amount is actually about 18.5 watts that it takes. On these overcast days, I've got monocrystalline panel for the fridge. That's almost all the panels in Australia are monocrystalline. You occasionally come across these polycrystalline. They've got little fart trickle charges that are amorphous, and that basically you don't see amorphous here, except just little toy ones. So what I realised on the overcast days, that panel will produce 0.7 of an amp, which is basically 1/10, and sometimes it will produce 2 amps, which is sort of about 1/6 or something like that of what this 7 amp panel can produce. So no, actually that'd be closer to 1/3. 2 amps out of a 7. Yeah, it would. It'd be close to 1/3. So you get between 1/10 and almost, a quarter or getting close to 1/3 on an overcast day. That's of what the official rating is coming in on it. I have caught it in the act once making 6.3 amps on a bright spring day there. Was it autumn? Can't remember. But anyways, it's gone very well. And, I think a lot of it is to do with the efficiency of the fridge because it uses a solar Fuji motor, a compressor, which is not... So you make them a crankshaft and you've got that thing where it sits at top dead centre, and it's really hard for it to turn the crankshaft when it's almost completely compressed, or because it's sort of almost jams in place, and that can cause a hell of a surge on us, and a lot of startup surge. Also, the whole thing of using a crankshaft, which is a mechanical device, to turn from circular motion to an up and down motion. That I reckon is not very efficient. But the Seiwai Fuji compressor that's on this, which is in all NGL fridges, it's basically like a spring and solenoid for what you open the trunk of your car with, the little thing that opens the latch. It's like one of them on one side and a spring on the other, so it just goes clunk, 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 and your drawer is sort of up and down like that. But according to NGL, you don't have a startup surge, and I just think it's a more efficient way because you basically, instead of trying to lose a lot of mechanical energy in an actual physical crankshaft, using mechanical means to turn a rotary motion to an up and down motion, you don't lose energy in that sort of mechanical conversion, so to speak, from going from a rotary motion to an up and down motion because of the design of the Seiwai Fuji. But I think that's got a lot to do with it, because when you start comparing its actual draw compared to some of the crankshaft compressor fridges, there's quite a lot of difference. I mean, a lot of loss. You're looking at quite serious. Like it says under, when it's real low volts, it's 2.5 amps draw, and these other ones you're looking at like 8 amps and stuff like this. That's pretty heavy draw. Comparative to 2.5. So yeah, but yeah. Long story short, it's been good. If it was an overcast year, all winter, I still expected to be handling it fine anyway. But I didn't really know how good these monocrystalline panels are on overcast days until I got my charge controller with the display on it, and then I could actually look and see figures coming through and get to know what to expect on overcast days from monocrystalline panels, because I've been told monocrystalline panels aren't very good on overcast days. And that's correct, but they were better than I expected them to be. I thought they'd just be a dead horse, but, they're alright. So yeah, but that's a little update on how the fridge is going during the winter.